this. No. You will lose.
Yeah, that shit's crazy.
This is one fall.
That shit's crazy. But listen, let me say this, right? I think Arthur Abraham is going to be Chris Eubank Jr.'s toughest test. Tougher than Billy Joe Saunders. And remember, this is also at a higher weight division than the Billy Joe Saunders fight. Arthur Abraham is very, very experienced. And don't be surprised, man, if you see an upset. Now, you can say Arthur Abraham is a little long in the tooth and everything, but he's one of those fighters that every time you think he kind of done, you know, his career just still keeps going, and he always finds a way to get his hands on the title. You see what I'm saying? So Chris Eubank Jr. is 24-1 with 1 KO. We're still, you know, trying to figure out who he is, like, as a fighter. Okay, we know he's a pressure fighter, power puncher, but we also be hearing about how, like, you know, he's got these boxing skills too. He can outbox you, but we never see it. You know, so looking at, you know, and I can honestly say I've covered every fight of Chris Eubank Jr. except probably like maybe his first 8 or some shit. You know, so looking at where he is, you know, first big fight was Billy Joe Saunders. That was back in the end of November 2014. Then he fought Dmitry Chutinov as a comeback fight. Tony Jeter, Gary O'Sullivan was a hype that was hyped up because of the character that Gary O'Sullivan is. He once threw a dirty, sullied mankini at fucking Anthony Ogogo. Shit was crazy. He threw a fucking man bikini. He threw that shit at him, the Borat one. You know, then he fought Nick Blackwell. That was highly a publicized fight. Put, you know, Nick Blackwell, you know, had swelling above the brain, and something like that. You know, gave him a brain injury. That's not nothing to talk about. And that fight should have been stopped earlier. And it was good for Chris Eubank Sr. to realize, like, yo, dude's getting beat the fuck up in there. Just punch him to the body. You know, stop going to the head. You're going to kill him. You know, then Tom Doran, then Renaud Quillen for the highly coveted WBO. You know, it's so seductive, that IBO title. It's so seductive, you know. That belt is sexy as shit. Like, every time I see it, I be just feeling like this feeling. But, you know, and now he's fighting, you know, his next biggest test. Because remember, the only test that he really had was Billy Joe Saunders. And now he's fighting Arthur Abraham, who is a power puncher, by the way. And you know how Chris Eubank Jr. be getting touched up with some punches sometimes, yo. You know, he be getting hit with some shit he shouldn't be getting hit with. He be trying to do all that, you know, all that shit, you know. And he be trying to duck all low, and he getting uppercutted by journeyman. You know, so Arthur Abraham is 46-5 with 30 KOs. He's 37 years old. You didn't think he was that young, did you? You probably thought he was like, damn, I thought he'd be like 42 or something. Nah, he's been around for quite some time. You know, so, you know, looking at his resume, and he has a Hall of Fame resume, by the way. Even though he lost to Gilberto Ramirez, you know, he's got Ramirez on his resume, Murray on his resume, Stieglitz multiple times, Paul Smith. You know, remember what he did to Jermaine Taylor? He fought Andre Durrell. He's got Carl Froch, Andre Ward, Edison Miranda. Dude's got his resume is sick. You know? So, you know, this is a big fight for multiple reasons. And this is the biggest fight of the weekend, if you ask me, as far as, you know, controversy and, like, you know, a possible upset. Because the big fights of the weekend are the HBO card with Miguel Burchik versus Takashi Miura, and then of course they have Joe Smith, Sullivan Barrera. Then you have over on Fox here, free TV in the States, Robert Guerrero versus Omar Figueroa, and Marcus Brown versus Shawnee Monaghan. Then you have this card, and then you have Lee Selby also defending his belt on that card. And I'm missing a card. I'm missing a fight. Remind me, you know. But it's a pretty good, solid weekend of boxing. So, truth be told, I'm looking at it as a 50-50 fight, and don't be surprised if Arthur Abraham gets the upset. Another thing is the winner of this is going to move on to the World Boxing Super Series. And I forgot the guy that they're going to fight. I forgot his name. Let me look him up real quick. In that high-profile, big-ass tournament. I forgot this guy's name. Anvi Yildirim, you know, of Turkey. And him and Chris Eubank Sr. had a face-off at the World Boxing Super Series draft. Not Eubank Jr., because I guess he was in camp. And also, you didn't want to have, like, you know, you couldn't have Eubank Jr. there. Or Abraham, because it's like saying they know they're going to win, but then they had Eubank Sr. It's like the representative. Why couldn't they do like a mutual? I don't know. Whatever. You know, so I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe. I'll link to my social media right down below in the description box.